Researchers. I've come to notice that a lot of you are writing a ton of notes about your research. This is letting me know that you're feeling really excited about your research topics and that you're finding a lot of information and articles out there that feel important to you. Those are great things. However, I think that it's time for us to think about what is most important when it comes to writing about reading, especially with research and nonfiction reading. Here's the most important thing. You only want to spend about 10% of your reading time writing. So let's do a little math. If you think about it, you have about 30 to 35 minutes usually during a reading workshop block to read. So 30 to 35 minutes, 10% of that is between 3 and 5 minutes. That's very little, probably much less time than you've actually been spending. So that means you're going to need to prioritize the quality of your jots and notes over the quantity. How will you do that? Here are a few ways and some suggestions that you might want to take with you when you go into your reading today. Only jot things that you can't hold in your head. So that means that while you read, you actually want to be holding on to as much stuff as you can until you feel like you're going to explode with thinking. You don't want to record your first thought. So when you read a little bit, you don't want to just write down the first thing that comes to mind. You want to let it just kind of sit there for a while because oftentimes our thinking will change. Details that we find important at the very beginning of the text aren't always the most important by the end. So rather than just writing down what you see and writing down the first thing that you think of, hold it. Hold it for a while. And then when you're ready to write, decide on a structure or a method of writing that feels right to you. Maybe you are creating your own structure, or maybe you're using some of the ones that I've showed you in class. For instance, you could be breaking things into columns. You could be thinking about parts of text in relation to the whole. Maybe you're thinking about boxes and bullets. Maybe you're thinking about multiple boxes and bullets. Maybe you're thinking about your process as a reader, so what you do in the beginning of a text, the middle, toward the end. Maybe you're using the structures that you've learned about. Whatever it is, it's meant to help you to prioritize the quality over the quantity. So that might mean reading a text all the way through, and then thinking, okay, this was a cause and effect text. So now I'm going to go back and grab some of those details to start writing some notes about what I think about it. This might also mean that you take pauses as you read more frequently, so you can really stop and think, process before you go on. My challenge for you today is to actually only write about your reading for 5 minutes. So see what happens if you have to hold it in your brain. Can you let yourself dive deeper into the reading work and the thinking work than the writing itself? If you do, your writing will be more powerful and more meaningful and more impactful as you research across more and more texts. So today's plan, only write about your reading for 5 minutes. Hold your thoughts for longer. Plan out how you'll write before you do it, and give yourself enough time to imagine your writing about reading before you even do it. I can't wait to see what happens to your writing about reading today when you'd have to take on this really hard stuff. Good luck. It will be great.